This is a friend of the defendant, and he has a story to tell about his friend, the defendant, talking about sleepwalking and a donut. Let's watch.
How would you describe, first of all, let's talk with Megan. How would you describe Megan's personality?
Shy, friendly, very kind-hearted.
What about Ben?
A bit less shy, but equally kind-hearted, and also usually tries to include Megan with whatever activities they were both at.
Okay. How would Ben treat Megan when you were interacting with those guys?
Ben would usually be the one encouraging Megan to come out of her shell, per se. There was hardly a moment where I spent time with Ben that Megan wasn't nearby.
Anand, there was an incident that happened shortly after this picture was taken. Is that correct?
The morning after, yes.
Okay. So let me back up a little bit. When, obviously, you know why we're here and why Ben is here, right?
Of course.
When you were given information that Ben was sleepwalking, what was your reaction?
I was shocked to hear the news at first, and then I immediately thought of the incident that you mentioned at that slumber party in April of 2016. So Benjamin Elliott, during our sleepovers, would sleep on the couch and let his sister sleep on a mattress on the floor next to my sister.
Okay, who determined who slept where?
Benjamin Elliott would usually be the first to volunteer himself for a couch, and it was just kind of a tradition from then on out.
So he would let his sister take the mattress.
That is correct. And then we had a bunch of donuts for breakfast set on the stovetop. And when I woke up, was heading out of the room, Benjamin Elliott was already holding one in his hands. He was lying on the couch, his head on the armrest, facing my way, and he was eating a donut.
Okay. What was his demeanor like when you saw him at first?
Rather calm. He was just eating his donut.
Okay. What did you say to him?
Megan, Elliott, and Elizabeth saying we're already awake at the time, so I simply wished everybody good morning.
Okay. And did that seem to startle or alert Mr. Elliott?
A little bit. He mostly looked baffled at the fact that he was holding a donut in his hand, and that it was already partially eaten by him.
And what did Ben say about the donut?
Well, after I said good morning, and he noticed the donut was in his hand, he said he had the weirdest dream. He was dreaming about eating a donut, and that he just woke up, and the donut was in his hands, and he was already eating it.
So his present sense impression to you was he was startled that there was a donut on his chest.
Yeah, when he was holding the donut, there were crumbs on his chest. He wasn't usually the type to eat a donut or anything like that without a plate or on the couch. He would usually ask first.
Okay. What struck you about Ben's demeanor when he said that to you?
Just the sheer confusion on his face. Like, he genuinely seemed baffled as to how that happened.
And so to get that donut from where he was, tell the jury what he would have to have done to get it back to that couch.
Well, the donuts were not within his arm's reach. He would have had to have gotten up, walked over to the stovetop, opened the box, grabbed a donut, and then walk back to the couch where he was sleeping earlier.
Now, you did not witness Ben walking around or anything like that, right?
I did not. That was moments before I woke up, I can presume. Because he only took like 1 or 2 bites out of it.
Did Ben seem to have any idea where the donut had come from?
I'm sure he could have made the inference that it was from the donut box, but as far as he was aware, it just appeared in his hands.
Did you, in this case, Anand first happened, did you immediately, this incident immediately come to mind to you?
Like, after the shock of hearing that Benjamin Elliott was dead, that was immediately where my brain went to once I found out more details. Like, my brain just thought, this is just like that donut incident at that slumber party we had.
All right, there's the donut story from the friend. Chase Brown, still with us. What'd you think of the donut story?
Donut story is going to be helpful in my opinion. I think it shows that there's some sort of sleepwalking behavior or some actions by him when he's sleeping that he's not aware of. So that's going to corroborate, provide evidence that this is possible for him, right? The prosecution is going to say he's making this up to save himself. But if we have evidence of previous incidences, maybe not as egregious as what happened here, but it helps corroborate that this was actually a possibility, that he wasn't aware that he was sleepwalking when this took place.
That he was violent in this situation and in those other situations with the donut and when his older sister saw him in the bunk bedroom, just standing in the doorway, nothing violent in those instances. Is that going to impact things in this case, that this one time he does something that's so out of the bounds of what anybody would have expected?
It absolutely is going to impact it, but from a defense standpoint, you need to harp on the fact that sleepwalking has happened in the past. I mean, this just shows, this is additional evidence to back it up. I mean, is there an argument to say that it wasn't violent, so this is it doesn't back this up? Yes, but the jury's not looking for that. They're looking to see that he's not making this up, that he was sleepwalking. And evidence of it in the past, no matter violent or not violent, is extremely powerful and an argument for summation that I think is going to be extremely effective.
That habit evidence, for sure.